What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Zack Heydorn here for 1TS Daily live right here on the One True Sport YouTube channel. What's going on? I'm Zach from Brass Ring Media, and this is 1TS Daily. We're here every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, talking about the news of the day, the news of the week in professional wrestling, and the show goes on wherever I am, and I am on the road today, the old day job. Has me on the road. I'm in downtown Chicago. See some buildings in the background there, some of the big Chicago skyscrapers. It's a beautiful day here in downtown Chicago. Thanks so much for being here with me. If you're listening and watching on YouTube, hello. If you're watching on Twitter X, hello. Thanks so much for being here. We do appreciate it. And we are here every single day, 11 Eastern. If you don't want to miss anything, subscribe to the channel. It's One True Sport. You can subscribe right now as you're watching this. Definitely hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and hit like if you can too. The likes very, very much help us out big time, and help us out in the algorithm. You guys know how it goes with YouTube. It's sometimes I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but it does help so much. So if you're able to hit like, I certainly would appreciate that. OneTrueSport.com is our hub for all things One True Sport. We have our merch store there. We also have all of our membership tiers there. So if you are thinking about becoming a member, or you're wondering, hey, how do I get more of this One True Sport thing that I love so much, check us out, OneTrueSport.com. It has the merch store, but it also has information on membership, all the different tiers that we offer, all of them with access to some of the biggest legends that professional wrestling has seen: Arn Anderson, Kurt Angle, RVD, Medusa, and some really, really talented hosts and co-hosts and contributors and just members of the team that you're not going to want to miss. So go there now, OneTrueSport.com. I do have the live chat open and ready to go for everybody who wants to get in on the conversation today. We're going to talk a little bit Monday Night Raw. We're going to talk a little bit about the rumors of an AEW television deal that have been circulating in the last 24 hours. Going to talk a little bit of NXT as well. So hello to Amy. Amy says, oh, on location. That's right. We are here in downtown Chicago today. Had to brave the traffic to get here. It was bad this morning. People who've been to Chicago understand the traffic's not fun. It's not a fun part of living here. Now, once you get to this position that I am now, it's not so bad. It's beautiful, actually. But boy, the trek in is certainly tough. But thanks so much, Amy, for being here. So glad you made it live. Always good to see you in the live chat. Okay, let's get into the meat of the show. AEW, Warner Brothers Discovery. We know that they're on the precipice of a television deal. And yesterday, with a report that I saw from WrestleNomics, not from WrestleNomics, but WrestleNomics found the report. So I want to credit them for finding this. Reports indicate that the TV deal that AEW is about to sign, or has already signed and just hasn't announced officially yet, is looking like it's a 3-year deal for $170+ million per year. That's a interesting deal, honestly. If that's what it ends up being, we don't know what the streaming component is to that potential deal as of right now. That was not a part of the report exactly, like what would be involved. Would AEW live on Max? Would they have their pay-per-views on Max? Like that part was not kind of talked about in this report. It was mainly indications that it's a 3-year deal, $170+ million. To me, that's a fascinating deal, because in some ways, if that's what ends up happening here, and that's the deal that they sign, I think it's good for AEW, potentially, right? I mean, it's good for AEW in some ways. Here's how it's good. Short-term deal. So they got another chance at a payday in a few years. And that, if ratings turn around or if they get, big uptick or even like not even big upticks in viewership, but upticks in viewership, um, you know, they have enough time in the 3-year window to go back to Warner Brothers Discovery and renegotiate something more favorable for them. I think that's a good thing. That's a good out. I mean, like when free agent baseball players, particular baseball players, but other players too, have those opt outs, in their contracts. It's not always a bad thing because they get another chance at free agency. They get another chance to negotiate. So that's the positive end of what that deal looks like for AEW. The negative end would just be that Warner Brothers Discovery doesn't see, of like, or isn't. Maybe let me take a step back. Not that they don't see value in AEW, but they're not confident in the long-term value of either AEW and what they can deliver from a ratings perspective, or they're not confident that themselves as a TV network are going to be in, the live sports and entertainment business for the long haul. Like that is a potential issue here too. That it's not that they don't like AEW, it's not that they're not confident in their ratings, but they just don't know that they're going to be in that business of providing that kind of content, more than 3 years from now. So while that deal, if reportedly it's true, 3-year deal, 170 plus million per year. If that's true, I think if you're AEW, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, we got a sizable increase in revenue. That's good. We have an opt-out. That's good. But then there's that part that you'd go, darn, like our key distribution partner here isn't quite sure enough. They're not sure enough to put a longer-term commitment, not even like a 5-year deal. WWE has a 5-year with a 5-year option with Netflix. There's a commitment there. That AEW would not be getting from Warner Brothers Discovery within this specific framework. So I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting twist. I think when you thought when you think about like why and what potential is for AEW, I think that like you're not unhappy with this deal. You take this deal, you get paid now what you can, and then you move on from there. We got a live chat comment here. What an idiotic assessment. Well, care to elaborate? I mean, you've got a live chat. What's your assessment? I mean, I don't see like any other assessment, but I'm willing to hear it. I think it'd be better if for your comments, if you just actually put out an assessment of your own, instead of one sentencing mine. So there you go. Let's see what you got. Anyway, I don't think it's an idiotic assessment, but to each their own, I guess. Oh boy. But yeah, this is what AEW is working with. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad deal. It's just it's a deal with some quirks, and it's a deal with some interesting elements to it that I don't think you necessarily thought were going to be there when negotiations were taking place and when the deal was going to roll out. And again, we don't know whether or not this is going to be the deal, but this is the rumor circulating and from some credible sources. And so, there you go. All right, we got a little bit more from our live chat here. There's why comparisons with the WWE deal? Look at their time in the market. Why would you compare it with the deal in AEW and undermine it? I'm not undermining it. I mean, look, I'm not undermining it. I just said it's a good deal for them. I just said it's an increase in revenue. I said it's a it's a deal that allows them flexibility. It's a deal that allows them the capability to renegotiate. I said all of those things. But the fact of the matter is, AEW and WWE are in the same business. They're fighting for the same television licensing dollars. And so, of course, you're going to look at other deals. And they're in the same industry. Come on. Of course you're going to look at that. I mean, and of course WWE is going to get a bigger deal. This is not saying, oh, they didn't get, $1 billion like WWE got. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that there's not the same commitment there from Warner Brothers Discovery. And I also pointed out that it's not because necessarily Warner Brothers isn't confident in AEW. That company changes, yearly with what they want to be or not want to be. And so who knows, that it just shows me that they're not sure that they want to, commit long-term to AEW and to pro wrestling. Again, those are the facts. So that has nothing to do with WWE, and it's not undermining the deal. It's just walking through the deal itself, or what indications are that the deal is going to be. Here B Rabbit says 170 million for 3 years, 170 million a year for 3 years. That's pretty solid given the circumstances. Yeah, I mean it is. I mean it really is, and I said that too. That it's an increase in revenue, and it's an increase in revenue on ratings that have slipped, in the last 2 years. So this is a good deal that leaves them an out to renegotiate down the road. Here we Rabbit also says, so this is Kurt Angle's channel rebranded. Yeah, it is. One True Sport. Kurt Angle and his show and access to Kurt is still available right here on this channel. You can go on the YouTube channel right now and see all of his shows. But yes, that is what this is. So you're in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Here we Rabbit also says 170 million for 3 years is great. And hypothetically, if Turner drops them after that, the cons can literally just buy their own channel or streaming service. Well, I don't, it's a crowded marketplace, but they certainly have the money to do it. There's no question about that. They certainly have the money to pull that off. If that's what they want to do. And we'll see. I mean, they've got money and they've got connections. So there's opportunity out there. And if AEW stays strong with their ratings, there's going to be opportunity to shop, their television products elsewhere. And that's just reality. But my point in talking about this was that it's an interesting construction of a deal for them. And I don't know that it necessarily kind of, it doesn't necessarily tell you that AEW is in a bad place. It just says that they're in a bit of an uncertain place. And so, this is such is life in the television television world. David's here. What's going on? David says, "How we doing, guys? Doing good. We're talking a little AEW. We're going to switch to Monday Night Raw here in a second. But glad you're here with us, David." Prashant says, "I'm sorry. Then maybe I didn't understand and take my words back. But still, comparisons should be to equals. There shouldn't be mention of WWE all the time. And 3 years is a solid deal. Yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, it is. It's a solid deal. I just." With caveats both ways, I mean, Warner Brothers at the 3-year mark may say to themselves, dang it, I wish we would have signed a longer contract. Company's doing well, ratings are doing strong, and, man, now we got to pay up. Wish we would have negotiated a longer contract at the beginning or earlier. On the other hand, they may say, oh, gosh, we're taking our channel a different direction. Glad we're not stuck with this. It could go either way, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. But thanks, Prashant. All good. All opinions are welcome here. Didn't love the idiotic comments, but hey, it's Tuesday morning, man. I get it. It happens. It happens. But all comments are welcome. All opinions are welcome. You guys all know that. So thanks, Prashant. Appreciate you. David also throws us a super chat. Go get a coffee, my friend. Hey, you know what, David? I will. I definitely will. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for a little love with the $5 super chat. Super chats are open if you guys want to get in with a comment like David or ask a question that you want us to chat about on the show. Make sure it gets into the queue. Drop a super chat. It helps me out. It helps the show out. It helps the channel out. It helps out our mission and what we're doing. So I appreciate you guys in advance for that. And thanks, David. I do. There's a coffee shop literally right over there. Again, I'll show you guys. Right there. See that pink? It's right there. So I'm gonna head there right after we wrap up the show and go grab a little caffeine. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's talk Monday Night Raw. Let's pivot to Monday Night Raw. I thought last night's episode was a pretty good night at the office for WWE, and I'm curious what you guys thought specifically about the CM Punk promo to start the show. Now, first of all, and I wrote about this morning for Brass Ring Media on our Substack newsletter page. If you're not familiar with Brass Ring Media, that is my shop. That is my organization. We cover pro wrestling long form. That's kind of our hook. We've got a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to for all of our shows. You can download our shows as podcasts for free. We're live on YouTube Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So lots of live shows throughout the week with myself and other hosts. But we have a Substack newsletter too, and that is where all of our written work from me and my team takes place. You can check that out. Just subscribe for free. Brass Ring Media Substack. Every day we've got a different piece or column or feature or show review dropping. So would love to have you. And it's totally free. So I wrote about this there and I said, hey, why didn't CM Punk close the door on his car? He drives in to start the show and miraculously gets to the building exactly on time where they need him to walk out. Funny how that works. But then he gets out of his car and leaves the car door wide open. Come on, Punk. You're better than that. You're better than that. Maybe it's me and I've got like PTSD from having two toddlers who will not close the doors on anything that they open, whether it's a door to the house, a door to the bathroom, a door to the refrigerator, to a cabinet. Nothing gets closed. It's just they're constantly left open. It's the most surreal thing. There's a lot of surreal things about being a parent, as all you parents know out there. But boy, sometimes it's the little things that throw you for a loop, and this one certainly did for me. Close the doors, kids. Close the door, Punk. Pet peeve aside, Punk cut a really good promo out there this week, and he desperately needed that. We talked about it on last week's show. He needed a home run promo. He needed a promo that just was a Punk promo. That wasn't a promo that like talked about the company. It wasn't a promo that talked about how happy he is to be in front of fans. Not a promo that says, oh, you fans, like, move me forward and have me do what I do. We needed like edgy CM Punk. We needed CM Punk that's a little twisted. We needed CM Punk that's, sitting on the edge of his seat. That's the CM Punk that we need. And especially given the fact that he's got a Hell in a Cell match coming up. And I think we got that. I love Punk's tone. I love the calm, slow talking. I love the low volume. All of that like conveyed concern, conveyed intensity, but a little doubt, conveyed uncertainty that he wasn't sure, about what Hell in a Cell was going to do to him and that his family doesn't want him to do it. I just thought it was a really nice touch to sell the Hell in a Cell gimmick, to really put some stakes and some heat and some meaning behind that structure, behind what happens in that structure. And they did that. And he did that with this promo. I thought he conveyed that really well. This was his best promo since coming back to WWE by far. by far. And I thought it really did a nice job of setting the table for the match with Drew McIntyre. I mean, Punk said, hey, like, I'm ready to die for this. Like, that's how much this feud means. I love maybe my favorite line, though, was the line about how many I got a lot of matches left in me. I got a lot of matches left in me. But how many Hell in a Cell matches do I have left in me? 0. No Hell in a Cell matches. I mean, that does a nice job of conveying just how vicious of a match that is. And I think, for that reason, he gets an A, not an A plus, because A plus is we reserve those, but he gets an A for what he did this week. And I thought he really established himself. And again, more importantly, I mean, he didn't even really talk about the rivalry with Drew all that much. It was more so about the state of Hell in a Cell and what the cell means. And inherently, I think he talked about Drew within that. Like, because if he's fighting Drew there and you put over the structure for what it is, and as dangerous as it is, like, he kind of inherently just jacks and jolts up the feud with Drew because you guys are going to fight in that cell. If you put over the cell, you put over the feud, you put over the story. And I think Punk did that. They got a couple weeks left here to build this match, and it'll be interesting to see what they do and what kind of interaction they have. Like, will they get physical again? I don't know. I don't know if they need that. Will they have a contract signing? That seems a little like, okay, so like, why? Like, the rivalry is at a point in such where they're not supposed to be able to like live like together in the same build, not live together, but be together without wanting to kill each other. But they're going to sit across the table and sign a contract like peacefully. That doesn't seem right either. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'd expect to hear from Drew next week, and then maybe like a face-to-face, some kind of face-to-face in the weeks following, or like just something. I mean, you got to get those two in the ring together again somehow. And be interesting to see how WWE does that. But this was a good launching point for Punk, and not so much just for the feud, but for Punk in WWE. He needed to find this. He needed to find this Punk. He needed to find this depth of a promo, and it's been too long since we've seen it, and it's taken too long for him to get there. But I think he finally got it here. Also on Raw last night, we got a lot of Judgment Day, and you had some key interactions last night. You had Rhea Ripley interact with Finn Balor. You had Damian Priest interact backstage with Liv Morgan, like little promo vignettes with those guys. I liked those because I thought it was I thought it's smart to like tell the stories with Damian and Rhea and the other members of Judgment Day, not just the members that they're feuding with, because they were a group. Rhea had a relationship with Finn, and just because she's going up against Liv Morgan and has issues with Dom doesn't mean that Finn Balor just automatically is nothing to her, right? So I'm glad that they went down that road, and by doing so, I think they really made you feel like Rhea and Damian both are feuding with the Judgment Day as a group, and not just the people that they're having matches with at Bad Blood. I thought it was a nice touch. Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, fun match. I could do without the wall stuff, guys. Right? I mean, I can't be alone in this. Like, it just looks so fake. You saw the wall there, and you're like, okay. It's like paper mache. It's like, come on. Like if you're gonna do something like that, it's got to look better than it did. If you can't make it look better than it did, or you don't want your guys risking injury by going through a real wall or something more real, then just don't do it. Do a different spot. Don't do going through the wall. Like, in the end, I think it served its purpose. Like, it showed just how violent and like monstrous both Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman are. And I liked the rest of it. I thought it was a good touch for the show. I thought it was like a good way to kind of establish and kind of turn the heat up on their rivalry. But yeah, I can do without that spot. My favorite part of Raw, though, was the Jey Uso and Braun Breaker segment in the ring. That wasn't building towards a pay-per-view. It was building towards a main event match next week on Raw. You don't see that very often in WWE. You don't see them, put that much focus and that much attention on future and upcoming TV events, unless it's like a tournament of some kind. You just don't see it often. But I think it's a smart thing for WWE to do. TV matches and main events, as the industry rolls along, are valuable commodities. I mean, they're just as important, if not more important, than like your B-show pay-per-view matches. Like, not necessarily in like the canon of WWE's booking and like programming and schedule, but from the business side of WWE, you need those main events to deliver audiences. That's one of the biggest revenue drivers that WWE has right now is the TV contracts. And so it behooves WWE to put some oomph into hyping their main events. And so last night you got two big angles from them. And I think it's did a nice job of setting the hook and getting people to want to watch and see what happens between Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. I thought Jey was Jey. Jey was Jey. He did his thing. He did the Yeet stuff. There's a level of sympathy there that he has with the crowd always. They're invested in what he does, and they love him. He doesn't need to say a lot to get the audience on his side. Braun Breaker, on the other hand, first of all, where do I get one of those jackets that he had? I want one of those coats. Those things, that thing was pretty cool. So if anybody knows, hit me up on Twitter at Zack_Heydorn. See it right over there. I need one of those coats. But Breaker continues to impress on the microphone. He's not trying to be someone he's not. He's being Braun Breaker. He's a little rough around the edges. He's intense. And he's able to show that well with the promo segments that WWE puts him in. So I'm excited for this. I think this is a really good main event. I think it's a really good match for Breaker and for Jey. We'll be excited to see how they pull it off next week. Got some big weeks of NXT coming up as they set up for the big premiere on the CW network. CM Punk is going to be involved. So I don't know in what capacity tonight, but we'll have to see. And we'll see what they do and how they integrate guys like Punk, guys like Randy Orton, who are going to be a part of that initial CW launch. And so, they have to walk a fine line. They can't make this, Raw 2.0. It still has to be a show about the NXT guys and women, but you do want to flex when you can and when it makes sense for WWE. And so, this is certainly that. So we'll see tonight how they start to put the cards on the table. We'll review that show tomorrow right here on 1TS Daily. Want to get to a chat here from David, not necessarily about a topic here, but says, "Hi, Amy. I'm doing all right, getting prepped for back surgery number 2 in 2 weeks." David, oh, man, dude, sorry to hear that. I hope it goes well. You got to keep us posted. I've had back surgery before. It was the best thing that happened to me in physically. So even though you're saying to yourself, hey man, back fusion 2 of 3. Yeah, that is not fun. Oh man, I'm thinking of you, man. I really am. You're a long-term listener of the show, part of 1TS family. I'm thinking of you, dude. And hopefully it goes well. Again, keep us posted in the lead up. I can sympathize. But 2 of 3, that is tough. That is really tough. Hang in there, my friend. Hang in there. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. 1TS Daily tomorrow, 11 Eastern, right here. We'll talk about the news of the day. We'll see if AEW has signed the deal. We'll talk about NXT, and we'll also preview tomorrow's episode of AEW Dynamite. So a lot to do tomorrow. Hopefully you all can join. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. And like this video if you can. And tell a friend about the show. If your friend loves professional wrestling, tell them about the show. We'd love to just, keep it going here and have this be a one-stop shop for everybody in your mornings to kind of start off your day pro wrestling wise. So 1TS Daily, we'll be here back tomorrow, 11 Eastern, right here at One True Sport. If you want more of me, head over to Brass Ring Media. We'll be live tonight with our flagship show. Subscribe there so you don't miss anything. And again, head to our Substack so you can check out all of our written work, which I'm really proud of from our team. I'm Zack Heydorn. Super pumped to be here. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to David for the super chat. Thanks to everybody who joined us live. We'll see you tomorrow right here, 1TS Daily. Have a great, great Tuesday. See ya.